What's one thing that someone does that just screams I'm a douchebag? Anyone who believes the peaceful residential neighborhood wants to hear their 9 million watt truck stereo at 2 AM on a Tuesday. Or rev their motorcycle at 5 when you're trying to get another hour of sleep until you get up. Passing someone or a line of cars only to abruptly turn in front of them with no turn signal or short signal, making everyone slow down. Also, pulling out in front of someone and driving slow, especially when it would have been clear if they had waited until you passed. 1. Anyone who has said do you know who I am in order to get what they want. 2. Treat wait staff at restaurants in a demeaning way. I love my family. Okay, we got that out of the way. My uncle got everyone lottery scratchers for Christmas. He put 3 or 4 of them in each envelope and gave one envelope to each of us during the Christmas hangout session before dinner. My grandpa won $50 and my other uncle won $60. That did not bode well with my scratcher buying uncle, which caused him to complain for the next 2 hours that they won so much money and he didn't win anything. Any and every conversation was broken up with frickin' over here won so much goddamn money. This isn't even Christmas. He should split it and give it all to everyone equally. If that isn't douchey, I don't know what is. People who interrupt you mid-sentence. Okay, so whatever I said isn't that interesting to you. At least let me finish before drowning me out of the conversation. Just wait the 5 seconds. Other side of the spectrum. People who talk about things no one else cares about for way too long and don't even make it the least bit interesting. Know when to shut up, folks. People who stand in huge groups in the middle of hallways, leaving a space on one side of the hall which is wide enough for exactly one person to pass at a time. I'm considering just walking straight through the middle of the group next time I see one. Do it. It's incredibly satisfying. Dudes who are nice to you, but the second girls come around they put you down and do anything to make themselves look better. Talking loudly on a cell phone, like I am the only one in the room. What's that? Timmy has his cheating on his wife? Let's talk about IT in detail so everyone in the room knows. My boss yells into his phone like it's a walkie-talkie back in the NAM. When you put your turn signal on, and the person 2 car lengths behind you and to the left speeds up to close the gap. If that isn't freaking 3rd grade behavior, I don't know what is. Off-handed littering. I assume that people who chuck their burger wrappers on the ground and keep walking also hate sunshine and interrupt children's dance recitals. I really cannot understand or fathom how the frick people do that. It's not hard or difficult to keep one's garbage until they have found a trash bin to toss it. Tailgating. Get out of my butthole, guy. When I'm getting tailgated in severe, snowy weather, I get so angry. Sure, it will be their fault if they can't stop in time, but I don't want to deal with all the insurance bullcrap and wasted time. When walking towards someone, and they towards you, on a narrow sidewalk path, and they make no effort whatsoever to avoid you. That's when I just stop walking. It forces them to have to go around me at the last second. Someone who will always interrupt your story to remind you that you're inferior. Egg. Hey, Tom. The other day I was fishing, and I caught a whopper. It was like 45 pounds and dang. Reminds the one time I caught a 61-pound baby dang. Heavy fight, but go on. Yeah, the one-upper. Buttholes. All of them. Dudes who wear so much cologne or body spray or whatever the frick that it's practically visible. I shouldn't be able to smell you from 15 feet away, or 15 minutes after you left the room. If you say why are you so quiet in front of a large group of people instead of asking in privacy, I freaking hate you. All public transit related. Taking up 2 seats on the commuter rail when it's packed because she doesn't want to move their bag to the floor or overhead shelf. Alternately, someone who sits on the outer of the 2 seats on any public transportation in order to prevent anyone sitting on the window seat next to them. And finally, if you are drunk and loud on a late night train on a work night filled with tired people just trying to get home after a long day in peace, you are definitely a douchebag. Drunk people need to travel too, but 2-seat people will be flayed alive in the new order. Talking crap about others behind their backs. I'm not impressed when somebody takes control of a conversation just to dump on somebody who isn't there and says things I know they don't have the backbone to say to their face. Not just because it's rude, cowardly, and caustic, but because I fear what they say about me when I'm not there. Reasons I read through this thread. 1. Find a laugh or two. 2. Check through things to see if I'm a douchebag. 3. Confirm the belief that your housemate is a douchebag. FML. The ones who park in handicapped spots who aren't handicapped. Yeah, I know it's a handicapped spot, but I'm in a hurry. Them and the ones who decide the medians and emergency lanes become their own personal lanes when there's traffic. Frick those suckers. But I feel the need to point out, it's totally okay to use the handicapped stall in the bathroom if it's not busy. That crap's like a small hotel room. I could move in there. Continually switching lanes in a traffic jam. It screams, oh, I'm just so important. So I'm going to make this situation much more miserable and dangerous for everyone else so I can gain 30 seconds. Driving related. I hate when there is a line of cars trying to turn and someone drives all the way up to the turn and tries to merge in, because somehow they think A, they are more important than everyone else, or B, they think no one else thought to do that. Consequently, I love when other drivers don't let that person in. If I see someone litter, it's over. I have and always will judge people based on that one fact. You can't be anything but a freaking douche if you're gonna throw that hamburger wrapper on the floor in a parking lot instead of walking the 20 feet to the trash can. People who get on things, elevators, subways, etc. before people get off. Oh, it's all about you. Well, frick everyone else. I didn't realize it was you. Die. When someone tells me that their dickhead friend is a nice guy once you get to know him, to me, that's code for he's a douchebag, but you'll get used to it. I think it also has to do with, they know not to be total dongs to their friends, but they are total douchebags to anyone who isn't their friend. Changing into your lane when there's only just enough room for him, forcing you to slam on your brakes as hard as you can and pray the guy behind you doesn't hit you. Alternatively, having enough space to merge safely and the car behind you speeds up and tries to stop you from merging and nearly hits you. Being proud of being stupid, not taking any effort to further yourself or your intelligence. It makes me so mad when people are proud of not reading books or following the news. How one expects to lead a fulfilling life without any sort of drive for knowledge is beyond me. People who automatically think you have to answer to them or that you owe them something when you don't. Also, military types who think they're better than people because they put on a uniform and act condescendingly towards us lowly civilians. Truck balls. Telling me what you do for a living in the first 30 seconds of a conversation when it doesn't come up organically and I didn't freaking ask. When the guy in the next lane knows that your blinker is on and speeds up so you can't get into their lane. Douchebag. Destroying archaeological treasures such as Byzantine mosaics and Greek and Roman statues because their portrayal of human beings is contrary to their religious beliefs. Brags about how good they are at driving drunk. If you're willing to risk everyone else's lives on the road just because you don't want to call a friend or a cab, you are a douche. A co-worker of mine is doing that. At least once a week he is bragging about that at the lunch table, and not a single person says something against it except me. I don't care if you run your car against the wall and die while drunk driving, but the chances are pretty high that you will ruin someone else's life. Went to see a movie about 2 years ago. Theater is packed, midnight showing. Definitely looking forward to this for some time. Family comes in, mom, dad, 3-year-old boy. The boy proceeds to scream at the top of his lungs for the first 20 minutes. Previews, commercials, first bit of the movie. Mom and dad disregard the kid who literally screaming. I was livid as I was waiting for this movie. I went and told the desk people what was going on. 2 employees follow me. I walk right up to the lane, point and say really loudly that little boy. The 2 employees start telling them they have to leave the theater. The mom gets up and starts yelling at the 2 employees that we are all racists, she's black, and that her kid is fine, he's not causing an issue. A dozen people start yelling back at her saying her kid was loud and should asleep. She refused to leave, Dad was watching the movie as if nothing was happening and kid was still screaming. "I ain't Levin, call the cops," the mom said finally and sat down. Finally I said screw it and went to the front desk and asked for my money back. They gave it to me. As I was walking away, about a dozen or two people walked out and got their money back. Motorcyclists who have deliberately fricked with their engines to make them loud as heck, then take them through neighborhoods. This is apparently a thing where I live. I love motorcycles. I have a lot of respect for motorcyclists. But if your sole goal is to be the loudest thing for a 1-mile radius, I hope you slide under a FedEx truck and taste your own freaking blood. Kind of specific, but people who don't care enough to follow the rules at the gun range. You're an instant douchebag in my book. Guys who yell compliments at you and get pee off when you don't acknowledge them. Sorry, I didn't know I owed you anything for treating me like a piece of meat. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video. Bye for now.